welcome back to the channel. In today's video I thought I would compare two Japanese drugstore face masks, and I had mentioned it a little while ago if I should do it or not, and a couple of you guys said yes, we would like to see that, so I thought I would go ahead and film it today since I have used both of them like a fair amount now. The two that I am comparing is the Senka Perfect Silky Mask and then the Hadalabo Koi-Gokujyun 3D Perfect Mask. These two are both available at most drugstores in Japan. They are both recommended retail price of 980 yen. The Hadalabo one contains 30 masks and then the Senka one contains 28. So the Senka one has 2 less than the Hadalabo one at the same price, which isn't like a huge difference. They're both super affordable for being like 10 bucks for a month of face masks. So if you use one a day, that's a month, which I don't usually use one every single day because I don't like to rely on face masks too much. Super affordable, both very good prices, and they're easily accessible at pretty much any drugstore in Japan. So I thought I would compare these two because they are both brands that I use quite a bit of their products, and they are both really well-known popular brands. So let's get right into it. First, let's have a look at the ingredients of these face masks. We're gonna go with the Hadalabo one first, which I have definitely used more of. This was the first one I opened and I only have a few masks left in there. So the main active ingredients that they kind of list on here is super hyaluronic acid, 3D hyaluronic acid and collagen. So most of them are kind of moisturizing, hydrating ingredients, and they also do list that it is free from added scent, colorants, mineral oil and alcohol. So I thought that was pretty good how they are free of all of those things. Of course they do have other ingredients besides that, but that's kind of like the main ones that they have listed on the packaging. Next we're looking at the Perfect Silky Mask. Their active ingredients that they mainly include is silk essence, double hyaluronic acid, so they use 2 different types of hyaluronic acid, and then collagen as well. So they are pretty similar in their kind of ingredients that they're using. The Senka one says it is free from added scent and added colorants, although it does have alcohol in it. It definitely doesn't list that it's alcohol free, and if you look in the ingredients it does have alcohol in it. In the ingredients list I could not see mineral oil, but of course we all know there is a chance that they have changed the name included in that, but they don't necessarily list that it is mineral oil free. Next I'll go ahead and show you guys what the actual masks look like. This is first the Hadalabo one. They do all come kind of stacked on top of each other and folded in half, so I will go ahead and it's kind of hard to show, isn't it? So this is basically what it looks like. This is a mask that has the flap on the eye area, so it gives you extra hydration just having it flap down, or you can kind of fold it up to put it on top of your eyes, which I don't usually do, but some people might. I will later insert some application footage of me actually putting on the mask so you guys can see how it fits on my face and all of that. It isn't a very thick material. It does have a slight roughness to it. You can see there is a bit of texture on the actual cloth, and it is kind of slightly rough. It does have 1, 2, 3 cuts per side, which is pretty standard for a cloth mask. Next we're going to have a look at the Senka one. Now this one is a slightly thicker material, and you guys can tell that opened up very easily. As the name suggests, it is a really silky cloth. It feels super silky when you put it on your skin. It feels silky in my hands, and the texture of it is a little more fine, so it's not as sparse and kind of rough as the Hadalabo one. And it does have 1, 2, 3 cuts on each side just like the Hadalabo one, and it also does have the eye flaps here that you can flap down or flap up. That sounds wrong. It might be slightly smaller than the Hadalabo one by just looking at it, but definitely does have quite a different texture to the Hadalabo one. But that is what the Senka one looks like. Alrighty, so in this next part I'm going to show you guys how I actually apply the face mask, starting off with the Hadalabo one. Usually I do apply it on my forehead first and then kind of work fitting the T-zone area and then adjusting the sides. Of course these face masks only have one size, so please use these cuts and flaps to your advantage to kind of adjust it to your specific face and get it to fit as perfectly as possible on your face. So you can say I'm kind of like layering it on top of each other just so I get as much coverage as I can, and so it fits tight on my face so it doesn't fall off while I have it on. Definitely adjust the eye flaps as well, bring them up higher but not too high that it goes into your eyes. And then this is just what I personally do. I find the nose parts are really big and it kind of like goes into my nose hole, so I just fold it up onto my face. And this is how it looks after it has been completely applied. You can see it does go quite far back on my face, so it definitely gives you a good amount of coverage. I would say that the only parts that have a lot of excess cloth is kind of the cheek area and then that little bit on my nose, as you can see. And before I wait the 5 minutes on this mask, I am going to pat it in, make sure all that product really does go into my skin, and I'll be back in 5 minutes. Alrighty, I am back, and once again, before I take it off, I'm going to pat it into my skin. I'm going to really get every last drop out of this mask before I take it off. And voila, the reveal. Not that my face has changed so much, but you can see it's very dewy. And this is where I really do take my time. I'm going to pat one more time. All that product that is on the surface of my skin, I'm going to deeply nourish, penetrate, what the heck am I saying, into my skin. I'm sorry, you get the idea. But here we are at the end. My skin is definitely looking brighter and very moisturized with the Hadalabo face mask. Now we are going to move on to the Perfect Silky Mask by Senka. You can tell that this one kind of opens up a lot easier. I think it's just the way the cloth is, and I'm going to apply it the same way in the T-zone first. But you can see that this one definitely kind of applies easier and quicker. It's not taking me as much time to kind of apply it on. It's just the way the material is. Yeah, it's super silky. Feels really silky on your skin, in your hands, and all of that. Once again, I am going to adjust it under my eyes as well, and then I am probably going to do the nose flappy thing again, because when I breathe through my nose, it just like flaps into my nose and it just bothers me so much. So here we go, flap it up on the nose and we are good to go. And I'm going to press it in one more time before we wait our 5 minutes. But you can tell in this one, as I was saying before, it is a little bit smaller than the Hadalabo one, so it does not go as far back on my face. The Senka one doesn't have as much excess cloth on the cheek. It's mainly in the chin area and then that little bit on the nose. Once again, wait 5 minutes and I will be right back. And I'm back. You can tell this one actually started to come off during that 5 minutes. I think it's that kind of flat, not as malleable cloth. Tends to just come off easier. And here we go, taking it off. And I don't know if you guys realize, but my eyes are kind of bloodshot from it. Yeah, terrifying. I will talk about it a little bit later, but that was like one of my concerns. I feel like my skin looks even a little bit redder compared to the Hadalabo one, so talk about it a little bit later. But once again, I'm going to pat it all in, and yes, I do look nice and moisturized and dewy after the Senka one too. Alright, next we're actually going to do a squeeze test, as in we're going to squeeze a face mask and see how much product actually comes out of it, how much product is kind of soaked into that one cloth. First we are going to try the Hadalabo one, so I'm just going to fold it kind of up small and let's see how much product comes out of it. Ooh. So it's kind of like a milky formula, which you can't really tell when you're applying it. Get all that goodness out. I'm actually super surprised at how much product is actually in it. And this has been open for like a couple months now, probably, the Hadalabo one. So obviously the solution does keep very well in the bag. Alright, I think that's pretty much it. I squeezed out as much as I could. This is how much product there was. Quite a bit. Pretty much filled up this whole container, and I'd say it's probably like 1 millimeter or 2 thick of actual solution. It's obviously kind of like a slightly thicker kind of solution. It's not super watery. I'm going to transfer it onto my hand so you guys can kind of see how much in the palm of your hand. So there's still a little bit left in there, but that's pretty much a handful of solution in that face mask, which is a lot, like for a pack of 30 and me having it for a couple months. Like, I'm surprised it hasn't dried out at all, but that's how much we got from the Hadalabo one. Alrighty, here we go with the Senka one. Once again, I'm gonna fold it up real quick, and here we go. Ooh. So the Senka one is a very clear liquid compared to the Hadalabo. It does have a lot of bubbles in it. Forgive me for that. There we go, squeezed all I could out of that one as well. This looks like a scientist test or something. So obviously first thing we notice that it is a completely clear liquid compared to the Hadalabo one, which is kind of interesting. I'd say it's a bit more, slightly more watery, although whoa, look at that. It obviously is kind of like a very slimy texture that it kind of like groups together and isn't like super like loose. Like it is watery, but it is like kind of got that slime thickness to it that it stays together and kind of like splits up. It is still a very thick texture. It feels kind of slimy on the skin. It's so weird. How's it doing that? I will transfer it onto my hand. Yeah, that's a big handful of product as well. I know it's hard to tell on my skin right now. It might have slightly more than the Hadalabo, but I honestly think because there is more mask still in there and it is also kind of a freshly opened pack. So I would say there's probably not the hugest difference in how much product that is actually included in the face masks. Now that we're kind of got everything technical, I guess, out of the way, like appearance and ingredients and all of that, let's actually talk about how it feels. First, I'm going to talk about the Hadalabo one. After you take it off, it definitely has a semi-dewy finish like most face masks do. I wouldn't say it's overly dewy, like super shiny. I would say it's semi-dewy. It's always going to be a little less than those single packed face masks. That's why they cost more, that's why they work better, of course, but definitely for the price, it's just got a nice semi-dewy moisturized kind of finish afterwards. It doesn't irritate my skin at all, and it doesn't kind of irritate my eyes, which I have had a problem with some face masks in the past. The next day, my skin definitely feels very moisturized and very bouncy. I felt like there was a lot of elasticity to my skin, and I personally kind of rate sheet masks more the next day, because that's when you really want to see the effects. Usually most people, I mean if you're like me, I guess, I don't know if that's most people, but anyway, I do apply a sheet mask at night hoping that it will give me results the next day. So I will usually do it kind of like before a special occasion, before filming, before the day that I want my skin to look good and all of that. I definitely felt the results the next day. My skin was bouncy, moisturized, felt great. I think it is a very effective kind of face mask for the price of it. And now compared to the Senka one, generally I would say it's quite similar. The first impression was definitely great. After using the Hadalabo one, I felt like the material was just so much silkier. It felt nice on my skin. When I'd like pat my face, it felt really glidey and all of that. So I was really impressed with like the first time I applied it. It does once again leave a semi-dewy finish, slight stickiness. Same with the Hadalabo one, I think I forgot to mention, but it does have a little bit of stickiness, but nothing like too much. But the only thing was in the footage that I inserted, you probably can't see it as much, but this one you can apply for 5 to 10 minutes. The Hadalabo one says 5 minutes. For the video I did do it for the same time, 5 minutes, but usually I actually leave it on for 10. I realized that when I leave it on for a long time, it actually causes my skin to go red. Like it irritates a little bit. It has a general kind of slight reddy glow over the whole of my skin. I'm assuming that it is the alcohol in it, and then it also does irritate my eyes slightly. I get slightly bloodshot. I guess it just creeps into my eyes, and it's just, my eyes don't like the formula. So that was something slightly worrying. I of course do not want to wear a face mask and it irritate my eyes. I just feel like that's wrong. I'm not applying it very close to my eye. It's just as recommended. Like I leave enough space, and yet it does seem to irritate slightly. And then the next day, I would say that it didn't leave a lot of moisturization for my cheeks. My T-zone and that forehead is usually oily anyway, so I don't really wake up with it dry, but I felt like it didn't add kind of any extra moisture to my cheeks where I need it the most, and I woke up with it being very matte and not very moisturizing, which is not what you want from a face mask. So saying that, out of these two, the one I personally like and recommend is the Hadalabo one, just because it has slightly more gentler ingredients. Hopefully it would work for you guys who have sensitive skin as well. First impression, the Senka one definitely got me, kind of like, oh, this feels nice, super silky, perfect silky mask. But overall, after trying them and kind of feeling it actually on my skin, I definitely preferred the Hadalabo one. Even though the material seems a little rougher, I feel like it's just gentler on the skin, and it does help moisturize a bit better than this one. Not saying that this is going to be the same for everyone out there. Everyone has different skin types and different kind of environments and different seasons, and all of that kind of play into a factor of how skincare works on you. But personally, for someone who has normal to slightly combination skin, I did prefer the Hadalabo one. I feel like it was a lot more gentler and it gave a better kind of moisturization to the skin. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I tried to be as specific and compare kind of all sides of what you would look for in a face mask. So if you did like it, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you do kind of like my content, like to know more about Japanese and Asian skincare and all that, go ahead and click subscribe, because I will be putting out those kind of videos and you can see me be kind of awkward all the time. I actually think I wasn't too awkward in this video. Leave a comment if you thought otherwise. Hope you guys have a wonderful day or night or whatever time it is for you, and I'll see you guys in the next time. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!